Log entry August 24th, day 3 of 5, session 28A. The observation of test subject number 07 has yielded truly remarkable and unforeseen findings, a pivotal breakthrough in our research into advanced neurological conditioning and behavioral modification. As a direct consequence of the preceding session's findings, which were not without their significant and tragic casualties, we've made the difficult and ethically precarious decision to remove the initial 6 subjects from the program entirely. 4 were terminated due to irreversible mental deterioration, a direct and devastating consequence of the intensive frequency modulation applied to their cognitive centers. Their minds, for all intents and purposes, simply ceased to function in any meaningful capacity. The remaining 2 were lost through unconventional, self-inflicted means, demonstrating a profound and immediate psychological break from reality and an utter rejection of the program's intended purpose. The ethical implications of these losses are, to put it mildly, weighing heavily on my conscience, but the board's mandate is absolute: isolate, condition, and cure, no matter the human cost. Subject number 07, however, stands as an anomaly, a beacon of hope, and a startling testament to our hypotheses regarding the malleability of the human psyche. This subject has demonstrated an exceptional and unprecedented degree of adaptability and resilience in response to the synchronized binaural frequencies and nocturnal suggestions we've been presenting during their REM sleep cycle. Unlike the other subjects who succumbed to the pressures, upon awakening, number 07 immediately begins their assigned tasks in their room, completing all nocturnal suggestions sequentially and with an almost unsettlingly optimistic and focused energy. There is no hesitation, no moments of self-doubt, and critically, no longing glance toward the substances they might use to relapse, which we have strategically placed behind a glass compartment in their testing chamber to test the limits of their conditioning. It's as if the cravings have been completely eradicated from their consciousness. Once the tasks are completed, the subject immediately enters a deep meditative state, a profound and seemingly serene focus that remains unbroken until the sleeping agent we administer once again induces unconsciousness for the next cycle of conditioning. The nature of their meditation remains an enigma to us. It is a silent and internal process we cannot yet decipher or measure. We've theorized it might be a new form of self-regulation or an unexpected side effect of the binaural stimuli. The true results of this isolation and meditation and the ultimate success or failure of our cure for addictive behavior will only be revealed upon the conclusion of their 5-day period, a moment we await with a complex mixture of professional anticipation and personal dread, knowing that the line between a miraculous recovery and complete psychological collapse is impossibly thin.
August 24th, day 3 of 5, session 28B, Dr. Zink. Upon awakening today, subject number 07 exhibited an unusual behavior. They did not consume the breakfast provided and have remained in bed for the entire testing period. Their eyes are closed and they appear to be in a state of active sleep, almost as if they are deliberately faking it. The binaural frequencies were consistent across all nocturnal sessions, and our conditioning technique to prevent relapse continues to be effective. In an effort to elicit response, we removed the glass enclosure and provided the subject with direct access to heroin and alcohol, their preferred method of substance abuse. But despite our attempts to coerce a reaction, the subject remained completely motionless. In all candor, they appear to be exerting significant effort to keep their eyelids closed. The underlying motivations behind this behavior are uncertain. It could be an attempt to impede the recurrence of their addiction, a strange side effect of the polysomnography sessions, or a factor we have yet to uncover. The board, however, insists that complete isolation, in conjunction with the proper sequence of sleep sessions, binaural frequencies, and nocturnal suggestions, will effectively and permanently cure patients of their addictions subconsciously within a week. It would be beneficial for the other subjects to share the outcomes of their sessions if they were mentally stable enough. Subject number 03 has just awoken, but is completely non-communicative. Subject number 01 continues to request drugs, insisting it's to make everything disappear. Subject number 06 remains fixated on a corner of the bedroom, immobile and non-responsive. It is unclear how, but yesterday evening, subject number 04 gained access to the roof and subsequently jumped off. That brings the total to 3 subjects who have taken their own lives. I cling to hope for number 07's success. I cling to the fact that Maria, my daughter, is not among those who have found their escape through such a horrific means. I can't shake the feeling that the board's obsession with a permanent cure is far more sinister than they let on. The constant monitoring, the escalating doses of the sleep agent, the way the others have deteriorated so rapidly. Something is wrong here. August 24th, Day 3 of 5, Session 28C, Dr. Zink. No midday change has occurred that would justify notifying the remaining subject, number 07. However, in the final moments of the day before the next sleep cycle was initiated, something completely unexpected happened. Subject number 07 suddenly leaped out of bed and retrieved the bottle of alcohol from the open cage as the sleeping gas was being released. The most unanticipated thing occurred. They did not attempt to consume it. Instead, they began to swing the bottle vigorously in the air. It was evident they were attempting to hold their breath for an extended period, but eventually they succumbed after approximately 1 minute, resulting in the bottle being propelled toward the wall and loss of consciousness. The reason for this sudden outburst of aggression remains unclear, but the outlook for number 07 is not favorable. We are optimistic that the incorporation of different frequencies and nocturnal information will yield improved results tomorrow. Some individuals around me appear to be growing increasingly anxious, and there have been whispers that this situation may be escalating beyond our control. The board has decided to send in a team to clean up the broken bottle and place number 07 back in bed before the next session begins. I couldn't help but feel a pang of dread as I watched the playback. This was not the behavior of someone on the verge of a breakthrough. It was the desperate act of a caged animal. I feel like an animal myself, trapped in this observation room, complicit in a project I am now beginning to question at its core. I've requested an emergency meeting with the board to voice my concerns, but all I received was a generic automated response denying the request and a reminder of my contractual obligations.
August 25th, Day 4 of 5, Session 29A. This is Dr. Augustus Zink. Subject 07 has been working continuously since waking up and performing the recommended nocturnal embedded tasks. Despite the residual glass from last night's outburst, the subject has strategically navigated around the shards. The team is still unsure why this situation wasn't addressed overnight, and our concerns were noted during our morning review of the overnight session. The board has concluded that the outburst was an inherent aspect of the detoxification process, particularly for individuals who are highly committed to their recovery. This study aims to mitigate the adverse effects of detoxification through subconscious suggestion during different sleep cycles. The change in frequency did appear to resolve the issue, suggesting the need for a more pronounced frequency shift during the process. One observation regarding 07 is that they appear to be performing a significant number of tasks while concealing their face from the camera's view. They are making a deliberate effort in this regard. Currently, they are composing entries on their tablet while seated in the corner, oriented in a manner that obscures their face. This is a cause for concern, and I believe the isolation has become unnecessary. In my professional opinion, and for the record, I believe that this session should be terminated to assess 07's mental stability. Once I submit this, the board will be aware of my position. I have requested that my team follow suit if they share the same perspective. My request was ignored. August 25th, Day 4 of 5, Session 29B. Dr. Zink. Dr. Zink here. 07 has been staring directly into the camera. This is impossible. The camera is 7 feet off the ground, and she has no way to get up there to be standing this close to the camera. We cannot see what is going on behind her, but we can hear things being tossed around. The room cannot be accessed until the 5 days are up, something I was not aware of when my team approached the board with our concerns. But now that I'm sitting here, how did we get the other subjects out?
How did 04 get on the roof? Why did I not see this before? What exactly are we studying here? My mind races, trying to make sense of the past few days. The other subjects were removed, yes, but by whom? The cleanup crew for the glass was never seen on camera. Subject 04 on the roof. It should have been impossible. The facility is a fortress. We have no access to the outside. My brain is screaming for me to leave, but my feet are glued to the ground. I have to see this through. I have to know what's happening to Maria. She looks different now. Her eyes, once clouded with addiction, are clear. But there is a madness in them, a strange luminescence that terrifies me.
August 25th, Day 4 of 5, Session 29C. Dr. Zink. I opted to listen to the binaural frequencies while induced with anesthesia. I informed my team of my decision and provided the rationale for their help. I needed to know what happened to the patients when subjected to the binaural frequencies. Looking through the data, these frequencies at high amplitude, the charts have data points for mental manipulation, reality distortions, and even temporal mental projection. I'm unsure how to even measure these. It doesn't matter. I listened to number 07's... Number 07's chamber will open in 2 hours, but it doesn't matter. She chose to stay in there. Maria has found what happens when you give yourself to your subconscious. She, and subsequently I, have discovered the origin of dreams. I guess each patient did in their own way. I was aware that something was amiss, and I was prepared to emerge from this situation with a newfound understanding that everything would change. I have my vices, I have my hang-ups, even as a respected doctor. But as I reached into the depths of my subconscious, I realized we are existing in something beautiful but confounding. We are driven to explore the unknown through technological advancement, delving into realms of existence that are not yet fully understood. I opened my eyes and saw the world. Now I just want to close my eyes to escape the hell I am now aware is all around us. Maria is loose, my daughter. I knew this was a mistake, but I could not see another way to break her from her addictions. I just didn't scream. The roof, she's above me. She's looking for me. I'm sorry. If you ever see this, Julia, I regret being so distant. I'm so... Interlude. Maria's account. Those messages they sent me while I was sleeping kept me going like mind control. But it didn't matter. As soon as I opened my eyes after the first night, I saw the truth. Those things you think you see out of the corner of your eye? You do a double take and nothing's there, but you swear you saw something. Well, you did. You just don't remember. They live off your fear. That's how they get their food. That's why it tends to happen when you're on your own. You're not as likely to be distracted. It's just easier to feed when you're on your own. As an adult, you feel like days go by faster, but as a kid, you remember them feeling so long. Well, they did, because you didn't lose time like we do as adults. Your kids see them as imaginary and aren't as easily scared of them. They stick around after that. I did heroin because I was seeing these things more often, and the only way I could keep them away was with drugs. Now I can't stop seeing them. They found a way to seep into my world and my vision. They're invisible to everyone, but now that I can see them, they can interact with the world through me. The binaural frequencies, they weren't just about curing addiction. They were a key to a door I had locked away for years. A door my dad, a brilliant doctor who thought he was saving me, had just pried open. I saw the others, the ones who didn't survive. They were torn apart from the inside, their minds turning on themselves, leaving their bodies as hollow shells. The one on the roof, he wasn't trying to escape. He was reaching for the sky, trying to project himself into a different reality. But he wasn't strong enough. He didn't have the will to live, only the desire to escape. When he jumped, he was already gone. I saw him land on the ground, a crumpled form. But as the fear drained from him, it became a feast for the creatures. They swarmed his body, his life force, the terror in his final moments becoming their sustenance. My dad knew I had imaginary friends as a kid. I wrote stories about them, drew pictures, and based a lot of my artwork on my imagination.
He'd used to laugh, but he'd also look at me with a strange concern, as if he knew they were more than just a passing phase. He was right. They didn't exactly lie when they told me they'd be back. The promise was subtle, a whisper on the wind, a shadow in the corner of my eye, but it was a promise nonetheless. Now I'm stuck, and that promise is fulfilled in the most terrifying way. They've got control of all my limbs, and my body is being held in place by hundreds of hands. They aren't hands in the traditional sense, but feel more like twisting roots tightening their grip with every passing second. My body is now a marionette, and I am a silent observer trapped inside my own skin, watching my life become their show. They're holding me so I can say my final words, a twisted act of mercy for a soul they've already claimed. I can feel the terror of the other human consciousnesses around me. They are so consumed by fear that they're turning into hollowed-out husks as the imaginary fiends feast. The sound is the worst part, a wet, guttural sucking that reverberates through me. They are holding my face so I cannot see them and go mad. They're afraid that if I go mad, they will be destroyed like the other subjects, that my mind would splinter and become unusable. I saw the others in their rooms, their own monsters devouring their minds and expelling their subconscious. Some of them became ethereal, fading until they were nothing but wisps of their former selves. I saw Craig, or number 02 as they called him, put his head through the glass while his body was still. His monster, a giant spectral scorpion, had been preying on his addiction. He realized he couldn't do cocaine unless he was solid. His addict side took over as he became solid again, and the glass cut him cleanly through. I saw his body through the glass walls every day, a constant reminder of what happens when the fiends get too greedy. They're going to take me away now. The pulling is getting stronger, the roots twisting tighter, trying to rip me from my place here. I feel them pulling my body toward a door I cannot see. If you see this, they are hidden here. You won't know it unless you reach into the subconscious and gain the vision. But that doesn't matter anymore, because I am their vessel, and they are going to protect me with every chance they can. They think I'm the perfect host. I hear them laughing. It's not a sound of malice, but of triumph and excitement. So, if you see me, please don't let me leave this facility. Shoot me on sight. Wait, what was that? I hear them laughing. My dad knew I had an imaginary friend as a kid. I wrote stories about him.